Hi everybody and welcome to this video. I'm hoping this is going to be a series that I start about writing marching battery percussion stuff. There's a lot of videos and I've made some as well about writing drumline cadences and some people's thought processes behind that. But there's not very many videos, if at all, about people saying, okay, I've got a score and I need this show tune written for my marching band, and I'm gonna, write the percussion parts. So there's very little content that's aimed at showing you from start to finish. Nothing on the page written for any of this, and we're gonna take you through all of this chart. So this chart is it's kind of rough, to be honest with you. I am not a band composer by any stretch of the imagination, but I wrote this cheesy little concert band tune a couple years ago. It's called "The Celebration of Morning's Light," and we're just going to use that and add battery percussion parts to it for this video. It starts with a slow section that goes into let's see, where is it? Oh, there we go. It goes into essentially a double time section. So it has the stereotypical slow intro, and then into the meat of things gets faster. So hopefully I'll have an MP3 with the score playing right about now. All right, wasn't that wonderfully cheesy and all of just garbage, right? But that's not the point of this video. I'm not trying to teach you how to write for band. I'm trying to teach you how to write for battery percussion. So the first thing I'll do when I get a chart in my inbox that says, "Hey, Robbie, write drums for this," I'll listen to it, and then I might start in the middle. I might start at the beginning. Today I'm going to start at the beginning just because I pretty much know exactly what I want to do for this because I've heard it so many times. But anyway, so when I'm writing an introduction that's slow, All right. A lot of the times, what I find is that when beginners try to write their first show music chart or whatever, is they try to put as many things as possible into as much of the music as possible, and that's where they get into trouble. So maybe the first video in this series will be just about writing this introduction, just to try to make it not 15,000 hours worth of stuff of me rambling on YouTube. But anyway, so let's look at this intro here. So we've got a little bit of movement in the score with the melody, 1 and 2, 3 and 1, and then basically variations on that rhythm. So let's look at the build here and measure, what is that, 7 and 8? Yeah. We've got two measures of 1, 2, 1, 2. Hopefully that was the right pitch. So we're gonna start with a 2-measure build. All right. I don't know why that note is right there, but anyway, so let's start with actually the last measure, and we're gonna start. I'm gonna start by writing snare drum notes. Oh yeah, by the way, I guess I should clarify. I'm gonna be writing for what I call a beginner plus battery ensemble, which basically I have all of these different guidelines that I try to go by when I write for different skill levels, but anyway, so we're going to start with a build on measure 7 and 8, and I'm going to start again by putting some 16th notes in the snare drum. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, maybe we'll start with quarter notes, eighth notes, and then 16th notes on beat 4. Okay, so when we're going through a build and a crescendo, I like to usually accent the last beats of the build. Also, let me do this real quick and set my D hotkey to diddle. Okay, so we'll start at piano. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, this isn't my drumline template. So excuse me while I do some prep work. So we'll start at piano, and then crescendo up to. We'll do maybe forte. I know everything else, everything in the wind parts are marked as mezzo forte. However, I'm not going to write continuous parts here. There's going to be a lot of blank space. So if we were going to write, an actual moving line of snare drum notes, we might go back to mezzo forte. But just because we're doing essentially hit points for an intro, I won't worry about that. So let's see. Now, I don't want everybody to start on beat 1. Because if one person starts on beat 1, only one person has to be right, or only one instrument has to be right. So we're gonna put the tenors on drum 2. I'm gonna write for tenors with 1 spot today, just because that's what I feel like a lot of programs have, and again, probably people watching this are just wanting to learn how to write. So. So yeah, we're gonna do 1 spot. Let's see, where'd it go? All right, so one thing I like to do when I write for tenors is everybody ends their phrases on drum 4 for some reason, and I don't like to do that. I like ending some of my phrases on drum 3. So we're gonna do that here. We'll put piano. Okay, so for bass drum notes, maybe we'll. I don't really like starting with bass 5 because usually they're not. In my experience, they're not the greatest starters of phrases, but we'll do it anyway, and we'll break the rules. So we'll have 2 and 3 and then everybody unison 40 and a 1. Okay, very good. Piano to forte. All right, now for this video, just to make it not 45 minutes to write 4 measures of music, I'm not going to write stickings in. However, I would absolutely recommend you do that if you're actually writing for drumline. just to make things, I guess as idiot proof as possible. But here I'm just going to expand my space between the staves so I have room to write things like crescendos and everything else and make it not look so cramped. Okay. All right. So I think I accidentally deleted the crescendo. Okay, very good. All right, so we've got our 2-measure or our 1-measure build here. But the build here kind of implies lasts for 2 measures because we're doing the same thing for 7 and 8. So maybe I'll put a roll in the snare drum or one voice to kind of make everybody aware, hey, we're about to start playing. Let's see. Sustained buzz roll. Oops, that's also not a buzz roll hotkey now. There we go. Okay. Oh, good Lord. There we go. All right. So we'll do maybe this at pianissimo. Now, for anything basically above beginner plus level, I'll actually tell what interpretation or what core rhythm I want on all my buzz rolls, but I'm not going to do that here because if I do it again, this video is going to be 1,000 hours long. But anyway, so having one voice start right here and saying, hey, get ready to play, everybody, and then having everybody come in on beat 2, I think that's going to be fine. Maybe in the cymbals we'll do a sizzle. Yeah. Okay, and maybe we'll do that one at mezzo piano instead of piano since they're not going to crescendo, and they're not going to have anything on beat 1 here. Actually, no, we're gonna make them do something on beat 1. Let's do a half note sizzle that releases on count 4, and then a whole note crash. Oops! Oh my goodness. On beat 1. There we go. Of the next measure, and then that will be forte. Very good. Okay, so we've got that. I'm not really inclined to have much going on in the first couple of measures here, just because this is a woodwind thing. We can have more movement and more dense parts here because this is brass and this is going to be louder. But odds are, if you've got a woodwind line in your marching band music, it's going to be harder to hear anyway. So I am perfectly okay with leaving this all blank. However, if you need a metronome, all right, what I would do is I would just put essentially a bass drum, a kick drum part in your bottom bass drum. There we go. And you can do that from anywhere from like a dotted quarter note, eighth note, something like that. Or you can do, straight quarter notes. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to have anything just because I don't think we need it. But anyway, so yeah, this is the first 8 measures, and I feel pretty good about it. All right. Again, you don't have to cram as many notes as you can into every measure of music. Okay. That's not how it works in the real world. All right. So now we've got essentially the same melody coming out here in measures 9 through 16, except we kind of replace the quarter note, dotted quarter note thing with a whole note. Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, so since we've got brass doing stuff now, we can get a little bit more note heavy. With this, I don't think it's necessary to go crazy, but I will write something with just a little bit of movement. Maybe we'll do a snare drum kind of leading voice if I can find my regular notes. There we go. Okay. Maybe we'll have some flams. Not too many flams though. Okay. I swear half this video is just going to be me cycling through sounds on the snare drum. Okay, so maybe accent here. Then we'll do one thing that I think is really underutilized in a lot of drumline writing, especially by people who don't or who haven't done it a lot, is they don't use dynamic contrast very well or at all. So I'm going to try to put as much of that as I can into this. So let's see. Okay, maybe we'll copy this measure here. Okay. Then we'll get a little bit meatier. Oh my goodness, there we go. Let's have some syncopated paradiddles. Okay, or well, I'll know they're paradiddles. You might not because I'm not going to put sticking in, but essentially that's usually going to be right left right right left right left right right left, and then the accents on beat 4. Okay. Maybe we'll do a forte piano type thing here where we crescendo back up to forte again. All right, and then we'll copy that kind of A measure. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we'll do a buzz roll kind of thing going down in volume. And then maybe we'll come back on beat 4. Okay. Now, if when you're coming up to the end of a slow phrase that's going into a fast phrase, all right, what you want to try and avoid as much as possible the chance for things to speed up too much. Okay. So here's another instance where I don't want, or I need to be careful about writing too many things here, because if I write too many things here at the slow tempo, they're inevitably going to speed up and make this tempo almost unbearable. All right. So then let's keep it as simple as we can. Actually, let's keep it even simpler. And then since this is essentially doubling from 72 beats a minute to 144, I'm going to essentially give them the tempo here with eighth notes. So this in the new tempo, these notes will be essentially half notes, and then these will be quarter notes. So that's kind of a cool little trick to give the band the tempo without actually just resetting and everything. Let's see. So we'll do. I don't want to do quarter notes there. Let's do another buzz roll, but this time let's get louder. Okay. Now I don't really pay attention to the length of the crescendos when I select my virtual drumline notes or whatever. I just write a roll and whatever happens happens. But anyway, so that's the introduction on the snare drum. Tenors. Let's see here. I think I'm going to keep the motif that we have in the snare drum. So I'm going to copy this over and transpose it to my drum 4, which is drum 4 left hand hits. Now I won't. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Okay, like I said, half of this video is going to be me just cycling through sounds on VDL. Okay, and then let's have a rim shot on the Spock there, why not? Instead of a flam. And then let's, yeah, let's do just that. We'll copy the dynamics. Okay, there is an easier way to do this, but I'm not going to take the time to show right now. But basically, let's see, edit the filter. You can make it only copy dynamic changes, and then use filter where it won't copy notes or anything. It'll just copy the dynamic scheme. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to do that right now because it's more work, and we're already almost 23 minutes of raw footage. So we are going to have to break this up into different video segments. Where we write one part in one video and another part in another video. So let's see. Okay, we're going to keep the same rhythm in the tenors, same rudiment. We're going to do paradiddles. Okay. 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and. Now on this one, I'm gonna do 16th notes instead of 8th notes, just to give me a little variety. When you listen to it, you'll decide if you like it or not. I know this is gonna sound a little strange coming from someone who claims to be an expert in it, but a lot of the times some of this stuff is trial and error, and I don't know if I'm gonna like something when I write it, or I might think I'm going to hate it when I write it, and then when I listen to it, I think, man, that's really cool. But anyway, so let's see. We'll do, nope, not that. Just want a regular note. Thank you. Then let's outline the roll in the tenors. We won't do a roll here. We'll just do regular 8th notes just to give the drum line a sense of where the time is supposed to be, because I don't know about your experience, but in my experience, a lot of performers, when they just see a half note buzz roll, they kind of take it as a sign to do whatever they want core rhythm wise, and that sometimes leads to rolls ending half a beat early or half a beat too late. So let's give them something to reference off of, and we'll do an alternate crescendo versus decrescendo thing here, so we've got different dynamic contrast happening. That'll be really cool. Maybe we'll do a double stop. Come on now, there we go. In the tenors to release this crescendo. Let's see. Then maybe a rest. And then another crescendo from piano. Accent the last two, because remember, these are essentially quarter notes in the new tempo. And then if you want, you can add in notes for everything for this tempo change. Oh, why not? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. Transpose, we'll do a rim shot on drum 1. Okay, and then we'll do drums 1 and 4. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. So there's the tenor part done. All right. Now you'll notice I'm not listening to any of this as I'm writing. That's just because I want to try to keep this as succinct as possible. But usually, if I'm writing, I'll usually listen to things fairly a lot or fairly frequently. But I'm fairly confident this is going to work. But we'll hear in the at the end of the video, we'll hear everything. So anyway, all right, so let's talk about this bass drum stuff. Now, I'm not going to copy the same rhythms for the bass drums, but I am going to outline some stuff with quarter notes in the A measures, so to speak. And then we'll do some split stuff in these B measures. Okay. Now, one thing you want to be careful of when you write bass splits is you don't want to skip drums. All right. And what I mean by that is here we're starting at drum 4, going to drum 5, then back to drum 4. You don't really want to do something where you go from like drum 5 to drum 3 because usually beginning to intermediate bass lines will rely on each other too much to know when they're supposed to come in. So if you skip a drum, you're gonna have someone playing inevitably when they're not supposed to be. But all right, so let's do some crescendo stuff with the bass drum. So during the A measures, we'll do a decrescendo, and then during the B measures, we'll start at piano and do a crescendo up. Okay. And then let's just, for expediency's sake, let's copy the A measure. Okay. All right. Here we go. So here, I know I just broke my own rule, but I'll talk about that in a second once I get the notes written in. So here we are starting a split versus what I was talking about earlier, where you're in the middle of one. If you're gonna skip drums, avoid doing something like this. All right, but as long as you're starting the split, you can pretty much skip wherever you want. Anyway, so basically, don't do something until you want to, and then just make an excuse for it. But yeah, in my experience, usually that works okay. Let's see. So let's break that rule again. Let's do the same exact split, except on the opposite end of the spectrum. So instead of 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4, we'll do 5 5 4 4 3 3 2 2. Okay. Then an accent here. And again, notice there's a lot of dynamic contrast going on here. All right. Like I said earlier, a lot of beginner writers don't use enough of this, and it really tends to impact their group's score when they get to competition because they're not including enough dynamics. So, in my opinion, if you include too many, maybe 60% of them will end up getting played, and you'll hit a happy medium. But let's see. We'll do this again. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We'll do a unison note for beat 4. There we go. Then maybe some rim clicks 3 and 4 and just to kind of give us that good old quarter note feel. And then maybe we'll go up to fortissimo for the last couple of beats here. All right. Okay, so that's our snare, tenor, and bass part written. Now let's worry about our cymbals. So for intros where things are soft, you want to avoid crashes until it's your hit points. I'm just gonna do. Let's do a dotted half note sizzle again, and then maybe another crash. There we go. Now, since we've got a lot of movement here, I'm gonna mirror it in the cymbal part. I'm basically gonna do crashes on each of the downbeats, and make the first couple piano and then crescendo them up. Now, if I'm writing a piano crash, typically I won't put an accent over it, but usually any other crash is going to have an accent on my end. But anything, mezzo piano or lower is probably not going to have an accent on it. But let's see. Okay, so we're at another of these. Fine. Okay. So let's see. I want to be careful about not getting too rhythmically involved here. But I think this will be fine. Oops. There we go. Then here, we'll just do 2 half note crashes to kind of, oh Lord. I hate it when I do that by accident. Oh no, this is such a hassle. There we go. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll make the second one fortissimo. And then, you know what, we'll do 3/4 as well for crashes. Nope. Absolutely not. There we go. So let's see, we'll do this one, that mezzo piano. Since everybody's starting at piano here, we'll do mezzo piano. We also won't do accents on these just because they're mezzo piano. All right, so I'm gonna save what I've got now, and let's listen to it.